the unseen war within, why your pain is not an error. Imagine waking to a world where every ache, every sorrow, every crack in your spirit has been declared obsolete. A sleek, algorithmic utopia hums outside your window, an empire built on the eradication of discomfort. Pain is now classified as a system error, a glitch to be patched with pills, dopamine-triggering apps, or neural implants that scrub your mind clean of longing. You are told in soothing corporate tones that suffering is a relic, a flaw, a problem solved. But your body remembers. At 3 a.m., when the world is silent and the screens go dark, a whisper rises from your bones. It speaks in the language of migraines that split your skull like lightning, of grief that pools in your lungs long after loss, of a restlessness no distraction can drown. You try to report it, this stubborn malfunction, to the smiling AI therapist on your phone. It prescribes deeper immersion in the simulation, a curated reality upgrade. You comply. Yet the ache persists, sharper now, as if protesting its own erasure. Here lies the great contradiction. We are the first generation to treat pain as a technical difficulty, and the first to feel so profoundly exiled from meaning because of it. For millennia, humans wore their scars as maps to the divine. The Greeks channeled agony into tragic theater, alchemizing despair into communal catharsis. Buddhist monks sat with the arrow of suffering until it revealed the texture of existence. Nietzsche declared, "To live is to suffer, to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering." But now, we treat our wounds like spam folders, annoyances to empty, not messages to decipher. Ask yourself, what if pain isn't a bug in your code, but a feature? Why does the void widen the more we try to fill it? What ancient part of you is fighting to be heard beneath the noise of quick fixes? This is not a call to glorify suffering. This is a rebellion against the lie that you must transcend your humanity to be whole. The birth of a delusion. You are not crazy for feeling unhinged in a world that pathologizes your humanity. This is by design. For most of history, pain was not an enemy, it was a teacher. Indigenous tribes initiated adolescence through rites of endurance. Medieval alchemists sought the philosopher's stone not to escape suffering, but to transmute it into gold. Schopenhauer argued that suffering sculpted self-awareness. A man who has not suffered knows only one side of nature. But the Industrial Revolution mechanized the soul. Factories required workers who could endure monotony without questioning its emptiness. Religions sold salvation through prosperity. Freud reduced anguish to repressed urges. Corporations sold happiness as a commodity. Now we live in Huxley's nightmare, pacified by pleasure, addicted to distraction, estranged from truth. Carl Jung warned that exiling pain creates a civilization of the half-alive. Labeling anguish as depression or anxiety doesn't destroy it, it mutates. The executive grinding through 80-hour weeks, the influencer tallying loneliness in likes, the parent numbing grief with binge-watching, these aren't failures of character. They're symptoms of a culture that treats the soul's cry for depth as a nuisance. Nietzsche called it the will to nothingness, the urge to numb rather than confront freedom. The more we flee discomfort, the more it defines us. Studies show chronic pain avoiders develop anxiety at higher rates. The void grows teeth when ignored. Who profits? A trillion-dollar wellness industry peddling turmeric lattes and gratitude journals. Tech giants monetizing unresolved anguish through algorithms. Even spirituality is co-opted. Instagram gurus preach good vibes only, while ancient practices like Buddhist meditation were never about bypassing pain. They were about sitting in the fire until you met God. Viktor Frankl, Auschwitz survivor, wrote, "Suffering ceases to be suffering the moment it finds a meaning. But modernity offers band-aids, not meaning. We've replaced rites of passage with retail therapy, soul-searching with self-optimization. The result? A generation drowning in the burnout society, exhausted, isolated, haunted by the sense they're failing a game no one agreed to play." Jean-Paul Sartre's bad faith, lying to ourselves to escape freedom's burden, explains why we cling to numbness. Easier to blame serotonin levels than ask, why does my job make me want to vomit? Simpler to swallow a pill than admit, I married the wrong person. But the body keeps score. Psychosomatic illnesses surge. Chronic fatigue becomes epidemic. We call it stress, but that's code for a soul in revolt. The ghost in the machine. You wake to a Monday that feels like a rerun. Your phone buzzes. 5 mindfulness tips to crush existential dread. You skip breakfast, scroll through a friend's Bali vacation photos. Her caption insists good vibes only. By noon, you've laughed at memes, ordered CBD gummies, and felt nothing. The paradox? The more we engineer pain away, the more it metastasizes. Chronic anxiety soars. Suicides among teens, raised on self-care hashtags, hit record highs. We've eradicated smallpox but birthed a new plague, spiritual autoimmune disease, where the soul attacks itself to feel something. Your brain isn't a machine, it's an ecosystem. Numb emotional pain, and it migrates to the body. Neuroscientists find suppressed grief rewires neural pathways, blurring emotional and physical suffering. That mysterious back pain? Your psyche's protest in somatic Morse code. Avoidance fuels neuroplasticity, reroute around discomfort, and your capacity to handle friction atrophies. Like a forest trail overgrown, you unlearn how to be human. Social media isn't the problem, it's the mirror. Viral wellness posts preach 10-second hacks to stop overthinking, reducing depth to inefficiency. Pain-based content is deprioritized as bad for business. Your darkness is unprofitable. We've medicalized the human condition. A CEO crying in her Tesla is emotionally dysregulated. A teen's rage at divorce is a behavioral disorder. Therapy apps diagnose grief as a disorder. Burnout becomes energy debt. The factory worker in 1910 had existential crises too. He just called them Sundays. Corporations sell trauma-free branding for influencers. VR grief rituals offer digital shamans to cleanse your aura in 20 minutes. This is Huxley's Soma upgraded, dissociation sold as enlightenment. But dissociation has consequences. Chronic users of emotional bypassing tools report joy feeling flat, love tasting plastic. You don't notice the erosion until you miss your sadness. At least it felt real. Carl Jung warned unprocessed pain pools in the cultural unconscious. Self-care.